Good afternoon and welcome back to the channel. This video is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research, make your own decisions. All right, guys, so in this video, I want to discuss a couple different topics outside of the market. Well, they are related, but I'm not going to be diving into where all the markets are and everything. We'll see how this week unfolds and I'll cover it as we go. But, for the sake of this video, I just want to talk about alts, the size of the opportunity here, the degree to which they've already made so much information public. I was looking at Hedera's website, and which I've looked at before. I did a video on HBAR last summer, and you just see it right there on their website, owned and governed by, and then you see companies like Boeing, IBM, Google, I believe DBS, Deutsche Telekom, numerous other industry leaders globally in whichever sector they're in. This is never, ever, ever going to happen again, okay? It's really important that you understand this. It's never going to happen again. These companies have bypassed the entire life cycle that normal companies, normal tech startups go through. So I'm explaining what I mean by that. When you're a tech startup and you're trying to go to market, let's say that you have some enterprise solution that is designed to be used by corporations. So when you're initially starting up, you have, depending on how many investors that you have and team and everything, but you have a product and you're trying to take that product to market. Now, normally, because they're a startup and they have startup caliber functionality with whatever service it is, they have startup caliber service to be able to service their clients and their general bandwidth and resources. That all aligns with a startup. So for the most part, it's going to take a while for those companies to work themselves up to the point to where they're being adopted by the large players. Because the large players, guys, all these large corporations, the Fortune 500, if you go look at the enterprise software they're using to run their business, you're going to see the same names. You're going to see the same names throughout most corporations. Now, there's some industry-specific software. I think of, let's say, for the healthcare industry, I think of Epic, okay? And there's other industry-specific software. But there's a lot of enterprise software that's just used uniformly across all industries. But the large players, the biggest corporations, the Fortune 500, if you go look at the companies that they're using for their business operation software, it's going to be some of the same names. And the reason for that is because those are the only companies that have the product, that have the functionality, that have the other partnerships and integrations already built out. They're the only one that have the service team to be able to service these large companies. And they're the only ones who can essentially offer that degree of scale because they have the resources in place to be able to do that, because it took them time to grow up to the point to where they could be adopted by the largest players in the world. So that's the normal life cycle. But you would start with smaller companies because you just don't have the resources available to be able to service the larger companies. So they have bypassed the entire tech startup life cycle, the entire life cycle. They've just gone from startup to automatically being adopted by all the industry leaders in the world. Not only have they done that, they're giving you all the information you need. There is never going to be another opportunity like this, ever. There's never been an opportunity like this. And because of all of these, I'm not even going to come up with some type of a word to use, but these content creators have undersold this to a degree that it's criminal. It really is. Okay, the degree to which they have, when I say we're criminal, I'm being a little hyperbolic here, but the degree, what this is and how it has been portrayed to the normal everyday person, the gap is so wide. I start to struggle with words to be able to explain it, because that's how wide the gap is between what this is and what most of these idiots on YouTube portray it as on a day-to-day basis. Like when the thought that anybody that has a decent-sized platform would be telling people that alts are too risky. Do you understand how And I mean, this is going to go down. And I don't care what happens to the market, okay? The market can drop this week. We can go to all new lows tomorrow, okay? I don't care. You understand that I'm just going to be buying. I am buying so aggressively until this market takes off. I'm not telling you to do that. That's just me, where I'm at, and what I think is going to be best, big picture here. I don't think that I'm not too concerned about investing into a company that is owned and governed by, I mean, some of the largest corporations in the world. And, you know, I don't think that people understand what it means when a Swift is adopting a chain link. Guys, you understand there's nowhere else for these companies to go. They've already ascended to the top. That's the goal of a tech startup. If you're in the enterprise software space, your goal is to get from startup to the largest corporations in the world, except that process is normally much longer and requires so many additional things. But because of the unique period in time that we're living in, and because they've decided that they're just going to change this whole thing, it's now happening all at once with numerous different companies. And not only that, they're telling you who they're working with. The partners list for the World Economic Forum is on their website. Here you go, guys. These are all the companies that we're working with. The ISO protocol is as out in the open as it could be. This is never going to happen again. I'm just telling you right now, it's never going to happen again. There's never going to be another opportunity like this to where they actually let retail front run the institutions. There's so much, and when I say that, I 100% believe that the institutions have been in to whatever degree for quite some time. But as far as full-blown institutional, you know, all these institutions putting this on their balance sheet, all these other things, they let retail front run the institutions because regulation's still not clear. So they told you what this was. They laid it all out for you. Then, not even that, you know, 10, 15 years ago, or however long ago it was, with the accredited investor rules, normal people couldn't even make these type of investments. They just removed all the barriers and just laid it out there for you. And then told you, here you go, guys, here's the ones that we're working with. And then they crashed the price down to where it's 90% off of its all-time high. So for those people like, I wish I would have got in earlier, they just gave you earlier's prices. They gave you essentially a time machine to go back to whenever it was these prices years ago, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever, how many years ago. And they're going to give you those prices now as they're actively rolling this out all over the world. All of these dumb, I don't want to insult somebody because they are concerned about the economic environment, because I totally understand that. But everything is relative, okay? Everything is relative. There are about 6 fucking options that you got where you can go with your capital. There's not a million, okay? And we're not living in a time where the current fiat currency system has years and years and years left, okay? I don't know how much longer we're going to be in this type of a system, but it's probably not going to be but so long before we transition over to a new one. So cash, gold, silver, Bitcoin, crypto, stocks, bonds, real estate. I mean, it's like you got very limited options. So when people say things like, well, crypto's too risky, why isn't it too risky for those corporations I just listed off? So it's not too risky for them, but it's too risky for you. Owned, and governed by. So not too risky for them to invest time, resources, capital, their own, everything. But it's too risky for you to own. It's not too risky for for these entire countries to start rolling out their new currency on some of these networks. It's not too risky for those countries to do that, but it's too risky for you to own it. Retail has been lied to on a scale that it's biblical. It really is. It is a biblical scale. It's a scale that you can't even quantify. The lies and the bullshit and the talking points that have been regurgitated by so many people in retail, It is, again, the gap between the shit that I hear sometimes and reality, that gap is, I don't even have the room to be able to truly illustrate how big that gap is. You're never going to live through it. You're never, ever going to live through another event like this, okay? So, and somebody will say, well, but it's a bear market, but get the fuck away from my channel. If that's how you think, seriously, get the fuck away from my channel, because I can't, it's gonna make me explode. It's really going to make me explode. You need to go watch somebody else who is encouraging you to just be fearful all the time. That's where you need to go, okay? If truth and reality and all that other stuff is not like your game, then wherever you need to go find somebody that aligns more with your mentality, that's where you should go. And come back, okay, when you're ready to hear the truth about what this actually is and what's going on right now. This is, and the reason why I'm kind of, because we're running out of time. And I'm not saying we're running out of time for the markets, and God, we might be at these price levels for 6 months, a year and a half, 2 years. I would love that too, by the way. I have no idea. I have no idea what's going to happen. I have no idea when markets are going to move. I have no idea about any of those things. But this opportunity is not going to last forever. And after it, it will be 30-something years. Okay, look at when they originally rolled out the internet, and now they're essentially just upgrading all tech everywhere, all around the world, and transforming the internet and financial system. How long do you think it's going to be before they say, okay, yep, now it's time to roll out a new thing? You're talking minimally 30 years, probably longer. You might find a little tech startup that you get in early on and they do really well. But you're never going to have 100 different, 50, however many you want to list off, companies that are well-funded, that have tons of connections with numerous different institutions, that are already being used by numerous different large institutions, big banks, governments, large corporations, the largest corporations in the world. Just understand that this is never going to happen again, okay? Don't know how long the opportunity is going to, and when I say the opportunity is going to last, I mean, yes, even in 5 years, these will still be good investments. Even for people who get in 5 years from now, they will still have a good return on investment. But even just with Bitcoin, over time, as these market caps grow and grow and grow, and these companies grow and grow and grow, the returns diminish over time. So, I really do want to mention this point, though. If you are just kind of, I don't want to hear any more titty baby stuff in my comment section, okay? And I'm being dead serious about this. I'm not listening to it anymore. Go somewhere else, okay? There's plenty of people. There's no shortage of people who are just, oh my God, the price is dropping, the price is going to crash, oh my God, we should sell everything. There's no shortage of that. Go there, okay? The woods are full of those people, so go there. We're not doing that here anymore. There's no more motivational speeches, there's no more nothing, okay? Everything is out, and you don't need anybody to tell you how you should feel about this. Think about that. You're invested. I'm just using Hedera and HBAR in this example just because I just added that. But it could apply to numerous other ones. So you're invested in a company owned and operated by some of the largest corporations in the world, partnered with the World Economic Forum, but yet you should feel afraid because some dumb fuck on YouTube is just hyping up this hysteria all day, every day. And who's telling you that because of this, then that means that this is going to happen. I'm telling you, I would get as far away from these people as possible. These people are going to cause individuals to miss out on a fortune. Assuming, assuming that the new system continues to be implemented and that this remains the new system and that there's not some world-ending event that blows all of this up, which is a possibility, but in that type of a situation, pretty much everything goes to shit. So if you see some other avenue where they're all of a sudden going to pump the brakes on this mid-implementation after they've already destroyed the old system, then okay. That's the only scenario I see, a world-ending event blowing all this up. And outside of that, implementation is going to continue. And if implementation continues and this remains the new system, then at some point, price and value are going to meet. And I don't really need to leave that general attitude. There's no real reason for me to, but it's a bear market, but it's at this Fibonacci level, but blah, blah, blah. But it could go lower. It could also go up. And the amount that it could go lower is relative to the amount that it could go higher. Okay, downside risk is relative to upside risk. When you're looking at something that's down 95%, but that's being used by some of the largest corporations in the world, you have that, and then you have a stock that, let's say it could drop another, it's got 50%, they both have 50% downside risk. But one has 20x upside risk, and that other stock has maybe 2x, 3x upside potential over time. So the downside risk is relative to the upside risk. And when there is insane amounts of upside risk, it could go lower, it could go lower. So the fuck what? This whole idea that you're like super bullish and you're buying 6 months ago at extremely elevated prices, you thought it was great. You couldn't buy fast enough. And then it drops by 70% and you're running for the hills. When fundamentals have only improved. When fundamentals have only improved as it has dropped 70%. So it was a good buy here. And they dropped 70% while fundamentals have drastically improved. But it's a terrible buy and it's too risky there. It makes no fucking sense. None. None. I've invited people who have said shit like this to me in the comment section onto the show to debate this. And they won't come on. They want to comment. They want to be a reply guy on their anonymous YouTube account. But they don't actually want to come on and get on camera, put their name and their face behind anything that they're saying. Because they're repeating talking points from these other dumb fucks on YouTube who have done nothing but lie to people and just feed them all these bullshit fake narratives to scare them out of this market. And I say now that I'm going to come after every single one of these people after all this is over with. I very well may not, because it might just not be worth it for me. But that's a great idea for somebody. Start a YouTube channel and solely look at all these frauds that have covered crypto, that have told so many lies, and just compare what they're saying to what's on the World Economic Forum's website, what's on Hedera's website, you could just list off a million different things. And just expose all these frauds. That's actually a great idea for a YouTube channel. Yes, your whole channel would be about other people's content and you'd be exposing them, but there's so much material there for you. You would be doing a public service. These people's credibility is going to literally collapse. At some point, it will collapse. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Because again, what this is and how they have portrayed it to their viewers, the gap is so wide that I have no words to describe it. This is the biggest world event you're ever going to live through. And you're never going to live through you're never going to have another opportunity like this. You might have good opportunities, right? You might have other opportunities that are very profitable, but they're not going to be like this. The amount of information that they have put out to the public is shocking. I cannot believe that they put that information out. I really can't. They've laid it out all for you. They've given you what equates to insider information. So it's never going to happen again, guys. I'm not telling you to go. I don't tell you to do anything. So do what you feel most confident in. But understand that so many people's attitude and perception about this has been warped by all of these idiots on YouTube, doing nothing but LARPing and just spreading hysteria. So that's all. That's all I got. Nothing else. Might do another video later. No video on the market. Okay, don't care what happens this week. Okay, I would actually like to see the prices drop because I'm going to buy more ICP, I'm going to buy more HBAR, I'm going to buy more Link, I'm going to buy more Algorand. I'm just going to keep on buying. And I'm going to buy so much crypto. As long as everything is continuing to be implemented, and as long as I see the largest, most powerful corporations in the world continuing to push this forward, guys, the incumbents are clearing the way. We just had a statement from MasterCard talking about how this new how crypto is going to be this transformative way to make payments and all these other things. So the incumbents, the MasterCards, the Visas, all these other corporations, they're just getting right out of the way and rolling out the red carpet for these companies. There's no opposition. The opposition is normal people. The opposition is retail. It's insane. It really is. That's all I have. That's it. Take care. Have a good day. Not financial advice. Make your own decisions. Do your own research and make the decisions that you are most confident in. Take care. Have a good day. I'll see you next video.